Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we dig in deep to analyze the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe 1 minute at a time. I'm Andy Nelson from thenextreel.com.
And I'm Pete Wright, also from The Next Reel.
We are, of course, looking at Jon Favreau's 2008 film, Iron Man. And back with us today, we have Joe and Andrew Darowski. Welcome back, guys.
Hello. We're still here.
Still here.
Lurking in the basement.
Lurking in the shadows, right.
I'm sure there's nothing in here with us.
No, nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing to see. We are looking at Iron Man Minute 104 on today's show. The minute starts with Rhodey taking Tony's Audi R8 for a spin, and it ends with Pepper looking up into the shadows of the Section 16 basement.
I think you might want to rephrase that on Rhodey. I think what you mean to say is it begins with Rhodey being a real jerk, stealing his buddy's car and peeling out inside his garage.
Right.
Like, that is going to reek.
It's terrible. Like, what is he doing? And I mean, did Tony even say he could take his car?
Yeah, why does he take the car?
Yeah, he's like, watch the skies.
Right.
He came in a truck, right? He drove here in a truck.
Oh, this totally confirms our truck breakdown theory that he actually hitchhiked up here.
Exactly. This is why Rhodey was so sweaty earlier.
He had to run the last 3 blocks.
So this is just further proof that Rhodey is just really not a good friend. He's not doing at all what Tony asked him to do. He's like, oh, Tony's out. He's in his suit. He's flying around the city. I'm going to take his cool car for a joyride.
I'm just gonna drive it back to my car, give myself a jump start.
That's it. I swear.
Do you think he just looked around at the broken glass and the hole in the ceiling and said, he's not going to notice the tire tracks. I'm about to leave.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and I mean, I do question the other end of this. I mean, we've seen before that obviously when Tony is flying out of here in the Mark II suit, there's no garage door on the other end. But I'm assuming at some point there is a garage door. It's not like he just has this open all the time.
Right.
And does Rhodey have the code? Like, why is it open? Why are we assuming that he can actually get out of this garage here?
Because lest we forget, like, that is also his workshop. Like, there is a giant hole in his house leading straight to all of his top secret Iron Man paraphernalia.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
I mean, we know his house is perfectly secure. Nothing bad ever happens there.
Right.
Ever happens in Tony Stark's house.
And it will continue to have nothing bad happen here for the next 2 Iron Man films.
Right. Perfect.
Oh. We go from Rhodey peeling out and ruining the floor in the garage here to a shot from Seven. It looks like...
Well, I have one question about the car real quick.
Oh, sure.
Because this is another shot, much like when the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents arrive at Section 16 or whatever that place was.
Right.
where like the logo of the car is really prominent. And I feel like, and maybe this isn't true, but I feel like that has become less common in Marvel movies. Is this because they are now paying for themselves and they were not when they were making Iron Man, that there's so much product placement?
I think that's probably part of it.
I think would be a very logical thing. Like, why are there so many Audi product placement shots throughout this film? Probably because they had cut a deal and were like, you know what, we need to get some extra funding to help make this look really cool. And I mean, to a certain extent, I mean, it's not just the Audi that we see. I mean, we see some gorgeous cars that Tony has in his basement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Granted, he's only ever driving the Audi, but I mean, there's the Saleen S7, the Tesla Roadster, the Ford Flathead Roadster, the Cobra. I mean, he's got a great lineup down there, not to mention the motorbikes. And so I think that it just also, I think it works in context of Tony. But you're right. The product shots where we're getting these shots where it's like, clearly, check this Audi out. I mean, those really kind of, they are starting to stand out, especially as we're kind of in these last couple, this last couple of minutes, we've seen quite a few of them.
But we should say that Audi has been a sponsor of Iron Man all the way through. I mean, they're releasing a new car with the last Avengers film. Like and in fact, like their commercial bit with Robert Downey Jr. is what largely was one of the first big spoilers about what happens to Tony Stark, because they sort of they let Robert Downey Jr. out something important with the character in one of their car commercials, their behind the scenes car commercials that went on online. So Audi has been around a long time, and this is not the last we're going to see of them.
Well, I mean, if only someone would go through these movies 1 minute at a time, I could confirm or deny my theory that it's become less common.
And we could point them all out. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Audi is very tied to Tony. And I think that's become just a thing that they do now, because Iron Man 2 will see these. Yeah, all of them, really.
I think really they are tied to Iron Man, right? We don't see them in the other Marvel movies, I don't think. I may be speaking out of school, but
in Avengers movies, he drives an Audi.
Right, whenever the character is around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't see Audi in Ant-Man.
That would be out of place.
Well, we might, though. I went in Ant-Man and the Wasp, when they pull out the Hot Wheels thing with all those cars. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an Audi in there.
No, you're right. And I'm searching for it, and there it is. It's in Spider-Man Homecoming. It's in Ant-Man. It's stinking Audi is the full Marvel sponsor. Yeah. I'm done. Forget it.
I want to see Thor driving one around in
Asgard.
Right down, just straight down the Rainbow Road.
No reason. It's just what
the real stretch, right?
There is actually a wonderful entire corporate advertising section in the Marvel Cinematic Universe Wikia, and so I'll put that in the show notes, and then you can look at Acura, and you can look at Audi, and you can look at all the commercials. It turns out it is in Black Panther, and it is in. I mean, I'm wrong on just about everything I just said. So,
well, good to know, and thanks for admitting it.
Also, Coca-Cola.
It is interesting that in this minute that we have, it does feel like when Rhodey peels out, it feels like a car commercial, right? And it moves from car commercial to straight horror. It's like within this 1 minute, you feel like there's two different genres that happen in the film Iron Man.
Yeah,
product placement, car commercial, and monster horror show is about to come.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because when we do cut to Agent Coulson and the team coming down those creepy stairs through that dirty window.
That really small window.
Everything at Stark International is so pristine and clean. I am so boggled by this window being like so filthy. It's like, why is it look so bad? I don't know. But yeah, we have the agents all now going into the bad guy's lair. And it is totally like straight out of Alien. I mean, it really is kind of this horror look. Even the fantastic lighting that we get. I love the tracking shot that we have of Pepper as she's walking down, and the camera's behind all the equipment, and we're just kind of watching her, and the camera slowly tracking and pushing in. And then there's one shot or one moment right around like 22 seconds in, when this just harsh light is coming up from the floor, hitting her right in the face, and it's just so creepy.
It makes her look like Alita Battle Angel. Like, when you look at it like that, her eyes are really big. Yeah, it is otherworldly.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, this scene you mentioned Alien. It also to me feels like in Jurassic Park when they go to the shed to reset the breaker.
Yeah, and there's all the technology around.
Yeah, there's all the pipes and everything, and you're not sure, but you feel like something could be behind any one of these things. And there's so many places for something to be hiding in us, even though we've established that was a very large suit.
Yeah, it's like there's not too many places for this to be hiding.
I wish we put in the cut of him like tiptoeing to a dark corner once he's in the suit.
Right.
Like, quiet.
Right. Very funny the way that he's not there. I mean, and Pepper's got, it's so dramatic, all of the way that this happens. I mean, everything is so creepy. You've got the sounds, right? You've got the dripping sounds again. You've got a creaky door as they kind of go through. It's almost like wind is blowing through there. These deep booms, electrical hums and buzzes.
You've got the water light.
Yeah. And then she turns and she sees kind of the wires dangling from where we know that Ironmonger had been. And the wires are like sparking, like everything is just, it's so weirdly creepy. It's so funny.
And it very successfully sets that feel, right?
Oh, sure.
And like for the movie audience, when you're in the theater, you're waiting for the jump cut moment to happen. Like for the jump where you're going to squeal in your seat and every muscle's going to tense. And it doesn't come in this minute. Spoiler.
Right.
So those wires.
Yes.
So he walked away and just like snapped what is that, like 12 wires, like thick cables. But
Don't forget, he's being very sneaky.
Yeah.
yes. And so does that mean that they weren't like plugs in?
Yes.
They were like hardlined in, and also he still needed the arc reactor.
So glad that you brought that up because it turns out, yes, that's exactly right. They were just hardwired in and he hadn't thought of that and just had to pull real hard. And that's part of this fancy new Iron Man technology.
Just like he hadn't thought about getting out.
It looks like even they did think about it because some of them have the quick release, like little plungers on them that they were able to release. But those hot wires there, yes.
Yeah, and they're sparking.
That's real trouble. Yes, they're sparking. Let's be clear, though, real quick. They're in a giant pool, right? These are hot wires dangling over
his Zen water garden.
I think that they probably all had the little plungers on to disconnect, but I think that was meant to be a sign that, Obi was trying to hurry here. He had to just yank those out. So I think that next time we see Ironmonger, I think it's going to be important for us to look around at the suit and find those other little shredded ends that he didn't get disconnected.
The dangling cords.
He needs a tail. That's right.
But what were the cords for if they need the arc reactor to power it? Like,
well, I
what
feel
was
like
plugged in?
Yeah, it was plugged in because he didn't have the arc reactor. How are they going to test it? How are they going to upload the system to it? It has to have power without the arc reactor so that they could work on it.
They couldn't do anything with it, but they could at least kind of get some power to it to install.
They still needed the battery pack to go cordless.
They had to power all the USB ports. Everything had to have. It was all USB. Every connector besides these two is USB.
Okay. So another infrastructure question about this basement. What is that big red pipe?
That must be where the water is running through.
That's a lot of pipe.
It sucks up from the basement and then it runs up to the arc reactor where it gets heated. And then it comes back down here in a different red pipe. Maybe that's the big, the green pipe behind the monitor.
Right.
That's the water coming back
flows down like a waterfall into the basement.
It's actually, it flows from Tony's house all the way.
That waterfall in Malibu.
All the way.
Can I jump back just a few seconds? When the whole group walks in and then they see the earlier version of the Iron suit, right? The Iron Man suit.
The Mark 1.
The Mark 1. In that tableau where they all position themselves so their faces can be seen by the camera. Which one is best posed?
Staged at all.
Which actor's handling this best? You can even see some of them. Once again, watch the one that's closest to the suit. He definitely looks down for his mark.
Yeah,
this is the Last Supper of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, it's the last something of a lot of these Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It is, right. It is.
Okay. Let's work left to right. Clark Gregg looks fantastic.
Always
He's looking
fantastic.
good.
Yeah.
He's always looking great. Okay, well, do your tableau, and then I want to come back.
Okay, and then there's the tall one between him and Pepper.
Yep, that's David Castillo.
Not a great position.
Yeah, he's kind of buried himself back there, hasn't he?
But he's a stoic.
Yeah, barely in the shot.
He doesn't flinch. We know that.
Gwyneth Paltrow doing fine.
Yep.
And then we've got someone, he's pretty much in the middle of the set of people there.
That's Keith. Yep.
I think Keith is good, but his lighting's bad.
Yes.
Right.
So his posture and his angle.
And I don't know what he's looking at either.
Well, I think he's just giving the suit a side eye. His face is kind of towards the room. And I like his look. I just wish his lighting was better.
Yeah.
And then you've got one closer to the foreground.
This is Jason. This is the one who's the eager beaver. Who This is his first day on the job.
Okay, I think that makes sense.
He's
because
looking at it as if it's kind of a holy reverence to it.
Yeah, and he crosses pretty far to get into that position. So I think that his eagerness holds true. That characterization is solid.
Yep.
And then we've got one who's still kind of on the stairs, a little hesitant, still kind of casing the room.
Yep, that's Paul.
I think he has my favorite facial expression, Paul, there in the back.
Yeah, he's got kind of a moody facial expression. Like, I kind of want to look at this cool suit of armor, but I don't want to not look at the room.
Well, and if you watch him, like he does like a little shoulder roll too, like, right around 32, 33 seconds. Like he stands there, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to stand here and just kind of.
Yeah, I'm going to keep lookout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
That shoulder roll is good. And then we've got the one who's looking just at the forearm of.
Yeah. And that's Daryl.
Well, I think he was definitely looking down at the floor for his mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to find it. It looks like, because it looks like he's not on it. He's like, where's the damn mark? Like he's walking around for a minute.
By the time they cut, he's looking straight at the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he looks maybe the least ready to handle all of this. Like he doesn't know where to look on the suit, and then he's looking for his mark. So I think he could have done another take.
Thank you for allowing a really in-depth discussion of.
But yeah, I think in the middle, I think he's the best. He just doesn't have good lighting.
I feel like for me, Jason is the best. The way that he comes all the way up, and he's just right in there, and he's just like, I think the fact that he's so excited. This is his first day, and I don't know. Although I don't understand why he and Daryl both end up looking straight down.
Yeah,
and actually, Agent Coulson does too. Their eyes all drop straight down right at the end.
It's reverence.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the holy reverence.
It's a holy reverence moment. Yeah.
Wait a second. There's you're right. I didn't notice that, but now that I'm looking at it is the Last Supper moment, and three of them are about to start praying.
They are.
Yeah,
Except for what you don't know is Jason is actually looking down and writing on his hand, "Don't forget this moment for Mom."
But yeah, Coulson and the two others that are closest to the armor, they all bow their heads in unison, like they're about to start a little prayer.
Yeah.
Right at 36 seconds.
Well, it's coming. Oh, so it's coming after Pepper's line. I thought it would be bigger, and so I guess they're just. I don't even want to go there.
No,
why they all of a sudden all look down?
Right. That's why it's so funny, because they all look right down at the crotch. Gotta be said. That's what they're doing.
If you were going to put odds on first one to fall to a foe that may be looking around, who would you peg in this group?
Oh, the eager one.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's sad, but he's just not going to be watching his back enough. It's not going to be the one who's still on the stairs because he's watching for it.
Yes.
He's ready.
He's a seasoned agent. Last one in, first one out, boys.
Well, as we find out later in the minute, Paul, who's the one on the stairs, he's the one who is he's kind of walking and he's studying the monitor. So he's kind of looking at the detailed information of the Ironmonger suit. So,
yeah, he's a student of the scene.
Yes.
He is. And then we have, they split up. We have Agent Coulson go with Daryl. They kind of hop over the bar.
He jumps the bar.
They weirdly don't land in a puddle. You'd think that they would.
This water is somewhere.
Pete, Andy, Andrew, if we are ever in a situation where we've just entered a dank room where we think there's a threat, I don't want us to separate. That's just our go-to methodology. We're going to hang out together.
Yeah.
Do not separate.
That's fair. I've got to say, the bar jump, it's rock solid. He's doing that one-handed because he's got a gun in the other hand.
That's Agent Coulson. This is why he got his own TV show out of this, right?
Yeah, he doesn't get enough action like that. That was good.
Yeah, he's a solid agent here. He's proven it. He's proven his stuff.
Now, you talked about the I have not memorized the agent's names.
Well, he had a spotter.
At this point.
Hold on.
But
Agent Coulson has a spotter down there.
Right. Daryl's already down there.
Hold the mark, Daryl. Hold the mark.
Who's the one who checks out the screen?
That's Paul.
Paul. When he's looking at the screen, does it just have a chart marking the angles at the waist of the Ironmonger?
I had a point on this because those diagrams, the arrows flash 3 times as if we're supposed to make a note or somebody's supposed to make note of
this is the angle of incidence where the torso meets the waist.
And so he can only bend so far.
Well, what's weird is it's also on the back. So it's does he bend backward too? That's not going to be good for the person inside.
No, it's not. It's not good. There's no space for a person inside here. It is not designed for humans. But for some reason that flashes. And at first I thought, well, what are they trying to make us feel like? Oh, the electricity is not that great because the light is kind of with the water.
Is it flickery?
But that's not how you would do that effect at all. And so something sketchy about that. And Paul notices. Paul sees it.
Oh, he does.
He's aware. He's like, I know what that angle is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know how to use that to my advantage.
When I see this,
Like he
whatever
kind
it
of
is.
has like a confident shrug. He's like, I got this.
Yeah. It's exactly-
Photographic memory, baby. I
That
just
is
got that whole
exactly what Paul
schematic.
is doing.
I can build this in my backyard.
I kind of wish you hadn't told me all their names. And
to make it harder.
I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yes, we'll find out.
And then that's pretty much right. We go back to Gwyneth,
To Pepper.
to Pepper, and she's looking at what? She's looking up at something. What?
I think it's just those wires,
it?
right?
Just
Yeah, she's
cables?
staring at the sparking
Okay,
It's
wires.
a xenomorph up there.
It is totally. Oh my! This whole thing. It's such a I don't know. It's the strangest basement lair for a bad guy to have in the bottom of his boss's.
Whoa.
The strangest. That's a hot take. That's a bold pull.
And I'm going to stick with it because I think
I mean, I
We
did
still
want to
have not
ask.
found the water source.
we have not.
Well, and when they first walked in and you guys pointed out the really small window, it still took me back to the moment in the previous minute when we see Obadiah like run across the hallway. I'm like, wait, where was that door in relation to
Yeah, right.
everything that we've seen before?
Yep.
The layout was a little unclear.
And I still stand by, those poor scientists who had to carry all of the equipment and material to build the Ironmonger down those stairs.
Yes.
I mean, there must be a freight elevator in the corner.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
You'd think.
Raccoon trap.
Oh, now I want to see like a one shot, and it's just like two interns who have been told to get the Mark I down there, and pieces keep falling off. They're trying to do it. It's like, this is really it's heavy. It's inconvenient.
I would love to have seen that he actually recruited Ahmed and what's the other guy's name? The two guys from the 10 Rings, who were the kind of the bumbling idiots that were always helping Raza and Abu out. I would love to see that of all the people that he killed, he kept those two around just to help put all these pieces together because why not?
Because they saw it.
Right. Because they obviously figured it out. Well, I don't have anything else for this minute. What about you guys?
No, I think we covered so much more than I expected us to be able to cover in this minute.
There's so much here.
Breaking down the tableau and the reverence and the prayer, I think sums it up for me.
Truth. I'm good.
Absolutely. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us again this week. Do you want to remind everybody where they can find you out there on the interwebs?
Well, I have one more plug I wanted to throw out there. I co-authored a book two books about the sitcoms Cheers and Frasier with my sister, Kate Darowski. So if you're looking for a different kind of media analysis rather than superheroes, and you just want a little a sitcom flavor to things, you could look those up. It's called Cheers, A Cultural History. That one actually doesn't come out till July of the year we're recording this. And then the other one is called Frasier, A Cultural History. That one came out a couple years ago because we went backwards. We did the spinoff and then the original show.
You wacky guy.
I love it. I can't. What's next? What's the next sitcom? Is it The Good Place? Tell me it's The Good Place.
That is the last episode of the Protagonist podcast that we dropped, was talking about The Good Place.
Yeah.
I definitely do want to get into The Good Place, but I think I need to wait for the series to be done before I could do a book project on it.
Yeah,
Holy
you kinda need
forking
to.
shirt balls.
That is
I'd read
my
that
favorite
book.
show on television right now.
Hands down. Okay. Well,
Or what about you, Andrew?
I wanted to podcast. I wanted to plug something that I don't think you've heard about. It's called Disney Animation Minute Essentials.
Hey, all right.
I co-host this podcast with my wife, and we cover Disney movies 1 minute at a time.
Check those out, everybody. And again, that's it, I guess, for today's show. So thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the show for free over at marvelmovieminute.com. Join us over in our Discord chat room and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Next Reel. And if you like what we do and you want to support us and get some cool stuff, become a patron over at thenextreel.com/Patreon. Until next time, true believers,